I'm Sudhir Shenoy. I am running my own consultancy and I work in the domain of personal financial planning. I work closely with people and help them to create their own personal plans. I used to work for a construction company earlier before I quit and started off on my own. In that company, they decided to have an employee retention program, and as a part of that program, they chose a few people who they thought were promising future leaders. And fortunately for me, I happened to be one of them. That is how I came to be a part of this great institution. Well, my experience in Great Lakes was something that I not really expected. It was great, and I had an opportunity to meet a lot of people from different industries, different levels of seniority, right from the junior executive to the country head. For example, some of the people were from organizations like Godrej, Sanmar, Caterpillar, and there are also a couple of ladies who were entrepreneurs and still wanted to get this qualification. How all of them impacted me? Well, very so often we think that we are handling a job and we are handling the MBA and we are stressed out and we have to handle a lot of stress. But when I looked at these ladies, I realized that they are handling their jobs, they are handling their MBA, and they are also handling the household work and their kids. So compared to that, I felt that there are always people who are one step ahead of us. So if we think we are doing something which requires a lot of pressure handling, there is always somebody who is handling a little more pressure than us. So it was a kind of a humbling experience, and that is one. Second, when we do this group studies and projects, one important learning that I had was all the time you cannot be a leader. You might be a leader for part of the time, and everybody cannot be a master of all the points or all the topics. In your group that you lead, there will be some person who will be expert in one area where you might be lacking. When that area comes to the fore, you have to let him take the stage and you should sit in his place and become the follower. That's the way you learn out of his errors and his learnings. And you also cultivate a deep bonding in that group. The group feels that you are not a leader who always bosses you around. He also gives you an opportunity to come forward and groom himself or herself to be a leader. So overall, I would say there's a lot of learning from the individual participants of the group as well. Well, my time at Great Lakes helped me to think a little differently, and to give you an example, when in the company I worked for, we were always made to work in areas which are absolutely not related to our background experience and qualifications. For example, I was hired by the company to lead the project of SAP implementation, and after some time I was asked to lead the HR because the HR manager was not there. At some point, the head of the IT post was vacant, and they said somebody has to head that department. So why don't you just take care of it for temporarily for some time? And that temporary turned out to be about 2.5 years. So I used to feel a little agitated that I was asked to do things which was not really what I was hired for. After coming to Great Lakes and mingling with the people, I realized that it was a great learning. I realized that to rise to the level of the CEO, you got to be a generalist. You got to know a little about everything. If you are a specialist, you know everything about something and you will hit the ceiling at some point of time. This was also something which one of my ex-bosses had told me. And the two things, my experience in my company, my mingling with the students of Great Lakes, it really helped me realize that yes, if I am giving multiple tasks, it is because I am being trusted to take on that responsibility and deliver. I also learned that whenever you have a great idea, you should not only implement it, you should also share it, you should capitalize it, you should market it, and perhaps you should make some money out of it, which is not a bad thing. If that idea helps others, there's nothing wrong in marketing it and earning out of it. So that was one of the key factors which made me decide a couple of maybe 1 year back that when I stepped out of my last job, I should really explore the opportunity to branch out on my own. being in the campus, then doing the project, then handling the job back in the organization. It is a lot of balancing act that we required to do. But fortunately for me, I had great superiors, and I had a great team that worked for me. And most of the time, okay, in the mornings once we used to interact with the team, in the afternoon during lunchtime, during evening, and I also used to go back to the office to handle any crisis situation if my presence was required. So looking back now, I really felt it was a breeze. When I started off, I used to always have apprehensions of how am I going to manage. But one of my superiors told me that in any situation looks like a very difficult situation when you start off with. But once you step into it, the way starts opening up and solutions come on their own. So I would really, consider myself a little fortunate to have that kind of a team and a very supportive senior management.